Okay, in the previous class, I was discussing the advantages of IP. Okay, IP protocol. Particularly, we are discussing about advantages of IP when we use it with the IoT. Okay, so here first advantage already I discussed. That is a open based networking solution and a closed based networking solution. Already I discussed these all things. And second one is versatile. It means so it is widely accepted protocol. Okay, and it is only one time investment. It is a long term investment. Once you invest it, it means once you deploy it, or once you implement it, or once you start to use it, at the initial stage only you have to make some changes. Afterwards, after some time, there is no need of any changes. Okay, then scalable, as its name itself is scalable. So whether it supports a n number of users and devices, of course it is it is supporting. Because of that only it is so much popular and so much common. Most common protocol it is in the internet. So it has massively deployed. It means widely deployed or used. And also this IP is tested for robust scalability. It means whether it is supporting n number of people or users and devices. So then of course it has supported, and then it is supporting millions together nodes, millions together devices. And these devices are working very perfectly and properly since from last many years, and these devices are operational from many years. So of course, whenever we want to add more and more numbers of devices or things to our infrastructure or our network. So definitely we have to optimize that network so that the network can accommodate all those devices. And not only optimization of network, we have to optimize the devices also what we are going to add to our network. And also not only devices, their designs also we have to optimize. Optimization is nothing but keep on updating. Okay, keep on updating so that it should be compatible with all other remaining devices. So improvisation is nothing but optimization. If you want to add more number of devices, you optimize the network, optimize the devices, optimize the design rules of those devices. And this optimization, sir, whether it is compulsory for only IoT or not like that. Optimization is everywhere because it is common. If you want to add more number of devices, then you must optimize your network and the devices. So the best example is the number of mobile phones are nowadays more, and the number of YouTube users are more in that smartphones. So since the number of smartphones are keep on increasing nowadays, so the here voice and video endpoints is nothing but your smartphones only. So here these all endpoints or smartphones are operating properly over IP because of this optimization of designs of those smartphones, or it may be optimization of the network. Okay, so since the number of devices are keep on increasing, optimization of those devices and their designs as well as the network is very important to do. Okay, and IP has already proved itself that scalability is one of its strength. It proudly says that scalability is my strength, scalability is my advantage or benefit. So because comparative to other protocols, so this IP proudly says that I can support n number of huge number of devices and users. So it is called as scalability, and already that IP has done and it has proved that fact. Okay, so then next advantage of IP is manageable and high security. You know, our infrastructure or network should be regularly manageable, and it should be very easily manageable, and it should be very secured. So these all capabilities are also provided by this IP. Because of that only, so this IP is widely accepted. So one of the benefits from these all 30 years of this experience of this IP, because I told you in the morning class also, so IP is working properly, and it became a popular since from last 30 years. So by looking into the history of these all IP networks and its operations, we can easily understand the management of network, how we should manage the network, how we can provide the security through the security protocols, and how and what all the mechanisms this IP is providing to us, what all the tool sets it is providing to us. So these all things we can understand by looking into the past 30 years of history of this IP. Okay, and adopting this network management, it means that definitely we want to manage our network. It is nothing but adopting the management. So by following the IP network management, so we can bring operational business applications to OT. Earlier, what happened, by managing this IP network, we could provide some support to only IT teams, but nowadays we are also started to bring some operational business applications or support to OT team also. Okay, so then here well-known and most popular network and security management tools are there. Those tools are taking advantage of this IP network layer, and in turn that IP network layer is also taking advantage of these tools. So since these tools names itself is a network and security management tool, it means they are the tools which are helping us to provide the network management. Okay, so they are helping us to manage the network as well as to provide the security to our network. So because of that only, this network layer, IP network layer, is taking the benefits of these well-known and popular management tools. Leverage is nothing but take the advantage of, take over on our control. Okay, IP network layer is controlling these all tools. So then sixth advantage is stable and resilient. Resilient is nothing but recovery from some crash. Stable, as you know, already I told you, this IP is working properly from last 30 years. So it is stable now, it is settled down now. There is no any problem or drawback of it. Okay, so it is a nationally, widely, widely, it has already accepted. So even though there are here and there some small disadvantages and drawbacks, so it is widely accepted already comparative to other protocols I am telling. Okay, so here it has already it has been already 30 years, and it is very clear that IP is a workable solution. It is a proper, perfect solution. Okay, and IP has a very large and well established knowledge base. It means it has a very good knowledge on this how to manage the network, how to provide the communication between the network, how to allow the devices to communicate between these things. So because of this popularity and its abilities or capabilities, we have started to use this IP in critical infrastructures like in the defense networks also, as well as in the financial networks also. Why? Because in financial networks also there are very sensitive data is there. In defense also there is very much a sensitive data is there. So that's why I'm telling it is a critical infrastructure. This much risk we are going to take without any worries, because IP is that much perfect and it will not make any other nuisances. Okay, so here in addition to this IP, okay, here what happens, IP has been deployed, right, for critical services, so not only in defense and financial, for entertainment purpose also. Nowadays we have started to use this IP. For example, just now what I told you, in a WhatsApp and in a YouTube and in any other voice and video applications or audio and video applications. Okay, so here because of this wide popularity of IP, we have already transitioned from closed environments to open IP standards. It means that earlier we wanted to pay to these all things. Nowadays we are not going to pay something because earlier it was a closed environment. Now we made it to open. So because of the wide popularity of IP, it is supporting almost all applications, almost all networks, almost all devices. Okay, so and also it is providing management tools also, and it is providing some security tools also. So because of these all things only, because of these all benefits and advantages only, it is stable. Okay, and finally the stability and this resilient, this stability, whatever I am telling. So this past 30 years of history of IP, it takes the benefits from many IT professionals. It means that, so then sir, what is the, who is supporting this IP to become so much popular? So you know, some IT professionals are there, software engineers are there, hardware engineers are there. So from them, it is getting a support. In what type of support it is getting? In type of, it means in the form of a design, it may be in the form of a deployment, or it may be IP based solutions. So like this, some technical supports they are providing to this stability or popularity of IP. Okay. So then seventh advantage of IP is the consumers market adoption. I want to explain it with one example. Whenever we go to kirani shop or any grocery shop, there will be some dealer or distributor who will be supplying the goods to or grocery to that shopkeeper. So that distributor comes to know that which product or which brand biscuit is selling more. Obviously through that shopkeeper only he comes to know, right? So that shopkeeper may tell him, so Parle-G biscuit is selling more than a Good Day biscuit, because of that Good Day biscuit is expensive or something. Okay, maybe that quality may be not good or something, but Parle-G is selling good. So from that one, by keeping that point in his mind, he orders more number of Parle-G biscuits and less number of Good Day biscuits to the distributor, and this distributor take that message to the manufacturers. Okay, so based on these ground level feedback from the end point users or end users to the manufacturers or vendors, so these production may be varied, or production may be optimized or improvised. Okay, the same thing here also we are going to adopt market of consumer. That is nothing but consumers market adoption. So here IP is already popular now, right? So based on that one, these the first thing they will look into the users. So what exactly the users are using? So predominantly, it means most dominantly, most commonly, users usually use smartphones, that is mobile wireless infrastructure. Okay, so here what happens, this message will go to the vendor who is selling the mobile phone to us, and from that vendor to that message will go to the manufacturer. The same hierarchy I am going to take here. When developing any IoT solution or any IoT network or any IoT based project, or it may be any product of IoT based product, so their main target will be whom? The target will be definitely the customers or consumers. Okay, so if these technologies or these solutions or these products, IoT products, they want to stand in a market, so they have to take a feedback from the vendors. Based on the feedback from the vendors, they will improvise the product. Okay, so here vendors know the consumers access to applications and the devices. So usually that consumer success will be on broadband and mobile wireless infrastructure. Based on these usages of users, the vendors will give this message to the manufacturers. So the main consumer device, usually the device what all the people nowadays are using, nothing but they are smartphones, or else they may be tablets, or they may be PC. The first priority, small to higher or small to large size, if you consider, the first device usually the people what use is a smartphones, then tablets, and then PCs. Then what will be the most common protocol to connect these all devices so that they can communicate with each other? Of course, definitely it is a predominant and most popular and most commonly used network layer protocol, that is IP. Okay, the common protocol that is going to link these IoT and IoT devices in the consumer space is nothing but it is a IP. Okay, then last I think last advantage or innovation factor. The advantage is a innovation factor. Day by day technology is advancing, and advancement of technology is there, and these innovations are going on, right? So for this innovation also, whenever anybody want to do any innovation or any advancements in the technology, the first point by default they will choose IP as a network layer protocol. That much popularity nowadays this IP has. Because of that only, people have widely adopted this IP. Okay, since from last 20 years, this is IP is largely established adoption of IP as a factor for increased innovation. So it means that, so based on adoption, so amount of adoption or number of adoption of IP. Okay, who all are adopting this IP. Based on that only we can come to know that this is also becoming a factor for this increased innovation. Okay, it is also playing a very very important role in innovation. Okay, so IP is an underlying protocol. It is a most popular and basic and fundamental protocol for applications which are ranging from simple applications like file transfer and email. Okay, so file transfer and email protocols are a file transfer protocol, FTP. So along with FTP, this IP is also working there. So okay, and these applications where all we are using this IP network, sorry, IP protocol in very simple applications like file transfer and email, and up to wide web, that is www, right? So in www also we use this IP, and in e-commerce and banking, online banking operations and online shopping operations, so there also we can use this IP. Then in social networking also, like Instagram, Facebook, and any other social networking applications also we can use this IP. And for mobility, okay, from one place to one place easily we can carry through the mobile devices, laptop devices, something. So for such type of a context or situations, this IP is most suitable. So even in a recent years, the evolution is from PC to mobile nowadays. In fact, whatever we do in a PC, most of the things we can do in the mobile itself, right? So this evolution, computing evolution, is from PC to mobile if you consider devices, and if you consider the storage of data. So earlier we used physical mainframes, large CPUs were there, okay, mainframes. So from that we have shifted or transitioned to nowadays to the cloud, okay, cloud services. And these are transitions, these advancements or evolutions from PC to mobile, compact device, and which is a virtual cloud services. These are the perfect examples and these are the perfect proofs to show that IP is a well established and well used and popular network layer protocol for innovation purpose. Okay, so then let me to go to next subtopic. Now till now I discussed advantages. Now I go to adoption versus adaptation. Okay, a general meaning usually for adoption is nothing but to choose or follow. Adaptation means adjust or fit. What we are adjusting, what we are choosing, of course, IP. Okay, so any one of these two models we have to use. In next topic, I tell you these are models. Whether you want to use adoption model of IP or whether you want to use adaptation model of IP protocol. You know, IP protocol has two versions or two models: adoption IP or adaptation IP. So adoption is nothing but choose or follow. We adopt the children, right? So completely we accept it by our heart. Okay. But adaptation is you don't want to accept it, but you want to stay with him. Okay. So that is nothing but advancement here. Somewhat here we are going to forcefully fit it. Okay, so one best example I want to tell you, you will come to know and understand better. Suppose you admit to any hospital, sorry, a hostel. Okay, and unfortunately you are from Karnataka state and your roommate is from Maharashtra state, and you don't know Marathi and your roommate doesn't know Kannada. Okay, then there is a big problem of communication between you people, right? So, and both of you want the room in the ground floor itself. Okay, the same type of roommates are also in first floor in one room. Okay, and then what you do, you ask and request your warden to shift your roommate to the first floor and bring the first floor friend to your room who is also from Karnataka. Okay, I hope you are understanding what is the situation. It means you want to make two Karnataka students in the same group and two Maharashtra students in a same room in a first floor, but that the second person will not agree for it. He says that I don't go to the first floor, I want room in a first, I want a room in a ground floor itself. Then warden also says you, so I have allocated the rooms based on a first come and first serve. So he also and you also came first, so I have given you rooms in a ground floor. I cannot send him to the first floor now, right? Are you understanding? So If this problem is going on, and even you are also not ready to go to the first floor, then what is the solution for this problem? The solution is ultimately both of you should adjust each other, and whenever you want to communicate with each other, like close the door, switch on the fan, switch off the light, close the door, close the window, let us go for dinner, such kind of communications if you want to do with him, at that point, for every point of time, you have to take the help of your neighbor or your other friend who knows both Marathi and Kannada, right? So there is some medium or mediator who should know both Kannada and Marathi, so that he can help both of you people. Okay, so one possibility is there, you can change the room and you can stay with the Karnataka student, or else you have to adjust with your roommate and you have to stay with him, right? So this is nothing but adoption and adaptation. Adoption is nothing but you don't have any problem with your roommate. Adaptation means you have to adjust with your roommate. Clear? The same thing happens here also with the IP. So by knowing the advantages and disadvantages of internet protocol, if you want to accept it completely, you accept it, that is adoption. Or else, if you don't want to accept the disadvantages of internet protocol, then the only one solution is you have to adaptation. That is nothing but you have to adjust with it, whatever the drawbacks are there, because you are not ready to leave the IP, but you want to use the IP, but you don't want to accept its disadvantages. Okay, so it means that the applications which compromise the disadvantages of internet protocol, it is nothing but adaptation. But adaptation means what? So whatever the applications are there, they are just focusing on advantages of internet protocol, they are not bothering about the disadvantages. They are very much happy with the internet protocol. So that is nothing but adoption. You blindly you can adopt the internet protocol if it is providing some set of advantages in addition to disadvantages, and you are not bothering about disadvantages, then you adopt it. But you have a problem with the disadvantages of IP, then you have to adapt it. Adaptation. Okay, so see here, there are before this IP. Okay, this IPv4 is there, right? So IPv4 is there, no? So this is a internet protocol version 4. Nowadays we are starting to use IPv6 also. So before this IPv4, along with this IPv4, there were so many other protocols are also were there. So those protocols, I call them as a non-IP protocols, because this is IPv4. Okay, so the remaining protocols, I call them as non-IP protocols. They are also competing with the IP. Okay, so for example, X.25, X.75, okay, and SNA, DEC, and IPX, AppleTalk, these all are other protocols which were competing with this IP. Okay, so but what happened? So day by day, the number of applications are keep on increasing, number of users are keep on increasing, and these number of protocols also keep on increasing. So once the number of protocols are keep on increasing, at that time we were required some special type of routers which are called as multi-protocol routers to handle these all set of uh, uh, protocols. Okay, so instead of handling these n number of protocols, instead of using these all n number of protocols, non-IP protocols, we just use one IP protocol which is satisfying all your satisfactories, all your needs, all your requirements. It is the ultimate solution for your all problems. Then why you are using other unnecessarily non-IP protocols? So this kind of discussions were happening in between the experts of networking, that is computer networking experts. Okay, so here one point I want to tell you, that is nothing but if you are okay with the advantages of IP and services of IP, then you adopt it blindly. Okay, so because it is doing more than other protocols, then you blindly accept it. Here and there some small drawbacks may be present there, but you have to adjust with those drawbacks. Then it is called as adaptation. Okay, so then any one of these models we have to adopt here: adoption, adaptation. Exact definition of these, you look into this slide. Adoption involves replacing all non-IP layers with their IP layers. It is very similar to replacing your Maharashtra roommate and putting a Karnataka roommate in your room. The problem is solved here, right? It is adoption, right? There is no any problem with your roommate. Smoothly you are going, smoothly you are communicating, right? Then what about adaptation? Adaptation is nothing but your roommate will be Maharashtra friend only, and you will be Karnataka friend only to him. And in between you people, communication should be happen. For that one, you are taking one help of intermediate or a mediator. That mediator usually we call here gateways. Gateways, that is application layered gateways. Application layered gateways means you are adjusting with your roommate by taking the help of some third person to communicate with your roommate. Okay, so these are adoption and adaptations. And here now we are going to see some factors based on which we can decide whether I want to use adoption IP or adaptation IP. Two models are there for IP: adoption IP, adaptation IP. So based on what factors we can decide? One is bidirectional and a unidirectional data flow. The first point you remember, that is a data flow. Whether you want a data flow in unidirectional or bidirectional. Of course, always we expect 99% it should be bidirectional only, because whenever we speak to somebody, we expect the reply from that other person, right? The same thing is in a network also. When sender is sending a message to the receiver, the sender is expecting the acknowledgement from the receiver. Okay, if the receiver is not sending the acknowledgement back to the sender, then it is called as a unidirectional data flow. Only one side communication it is. Okay, almost there are so many applications are there. They require bidirectional data flow. But in addition to these applications, there are at the same time there are so many applications are there who need only unidirectional data flow. They don't want bidirectional data flow. They don't want to reply from the destination or receiver. The best example is in a building, that is a what kind of these alarms will be there. That is a fire alarms, smoke alarms. Okay, these are giving you alarm sounds, but they are not taking anything from you. And very that is a unidirectional data flow is in the sense that very frequently data is not moving here. Very rarely data is moving. So in such type of applications, in such type of situations, we want unidirectional data flow. Clear? Okay. So these devices will be working based on low power wide area wireless technologies, that is LPWA. The best example is very rarely sending alarms. Alarms are very rarely sending the data, or daily at the end of the day they will send the report, or at the end of the day they will switch off the lights, and at the beginning of the day they will switch on the lights. Switch on and switch off lights are very rare actions in a day. Or some applications are there where you need to send the data weekly or monthly or sometimes yearly. In such type of situations or context, you should use a unidirectional data flow. Okay. Okay, so here for these type of cases, it is not necessary to use this full IP stack. It is unnecessary. It is wastage of energy of IP stack. IP is protocol stack. So in such type of applications where data is rarely moving, in such type of situations, don't use a full IP stack. Okay, only use full IP stack where the data movement is very frequent and often, for every minute, for every 5 minutes, for every hour, for every half an hour. If you are sending the data continuously for every second, because sensors will be continuously generating the data and moving that data to the cloud, right? So for such kind of situations, we should use a full IP stack. Based on this, you should decide whether you want adoption of IP or adaptation of IP. Then second factor is, I think within 7 minutes, this meeting may end. Once this meeting ends, you please rejoin. Last 1 or 2 slides are there. Hardly once again, I take some 5 to 10 minutes. That's all. After that, I wind up the class. Okay. See, one more factor is there based on which I can decide I want to use adoption or adaptation. One is overhead for a last mile communication path. What is this overhead? Overhead is nothing but the time taken, time required to process the data. Time required to process the data. Okay. So in IPv4, 20 bytes of header is there. 20 bytes of header in a, in a previous module, we have seen a physical layer frame format, how the data will be stored. Okay, in a frame. Here, first 20 bytes of header, minimum 20 bytes of header will be there, and in IPv6, that header will be of 40 bytes size. 40 bytes. You just see here. This is a 20 bytes of header, and it has a 40 bytes of header. Okay, so then for the IP transport layer like UDP, it has 8 bytes of header, 8 bytes of header, and maximum it has a 20 bytes of header. Okay, so sorry, TCP has a UDP has a 8 bytes of header, and TCP has a 20 bytes of header. And if the data to be forwarded by a device is a infrequent, as a previous point I discussed, the data is very rarely transmitted. Okay, only few amount of data, very less amount of data, then we have to have more header overhead than the device. It means you are compromising here. It means even though the data movement is very rare and the data is very less amount of data, then you should use a more overhead. More overhead means what? You are taking so much time to process that data. Okay, so this type of some limitations or negative points are there. For such kind of situations or context, you can use adaptation instead of adoption. Okay, so as a result, we need to decide whether IP adoption model is necessary, and if it is adoption model, then how it can be optimized. Otherwise, you just go with the adaptation. Okay, so these all points we should keep in our mind based on our requirement, whether I want 20 bytes or 60 bytes, or sorry, 20 bytes or 40 bytes, or 8 bytes or 20 bytes. So by keeping these all things, we can decide. Okay, then the data flow model means in which direction the data is moving. Okay, so and the same models I am going to discuss once again here, that is adoption model or adaptation model. One benefit of this adoption model is end-to-end nature of communication. It means that you just see the situation that in your room you have a Karnataka friend only, then there is no any problem for you for communication. Your communication will be proper and natural. End-to-end proper communication will be there. There is no any problem at all. That is called as IP adoption. If you use this adoption model, the benefit is you will have end-to-end communication, proper communication. That is nature of communication, end-to-end nature of communication. It means that the data will be definitely delivered guaranteedly from a sender to the destination. There is no any data loss. End-to-end nature of communication. Okay, so if any one of these devices or nodes in a network, it can easily transfer the data, it can exchange the data with any other node in a network, and it will provide security also, it has a privacy also. Okay, so by having these all facilities also, there are some other factors are there. They will put controls or restrictions or limitations on these end-to-end concept. What is this end-to-end concept? So data should be securely delivered to the receiver, right? So by having this much all proper facilities also, so there are some still there are some limitations are there, some restrictions are there on this end-to-end concept. Okay, so here in many IoT networks or in many IoT solutions, the device's data flow is limited to one or two applications. Okay, because here data is not huge and it is not flowing everywhere. The data is usually in our many IoT solutions, the devices data flow will be very limited to one or two applications. So that data is going to hardly one or two applications, usually, generally. Okay. In this case, if it is so, then adaptation model can work because translation of traffic needs to occur only between a end device and only hardly one or two application servers. If the data flow is more, then adoption. If the data flow is less, then adaptation. Okay, you should use adaptation model at that time. So depending upon this network topology and the traffic of network and the data flow of a network, so both adaptation and adaptation models are playing a vital role in our connectivity. It means based on your requirement and based on the network topology and the network traffic, if the network traffic is more or data is more to be transferred, then you adopt or you start using adoption model. Otherwise, you use a adaptation model. Clear? Then, okay, last one more point is that is a network diversity. You know, diversity means how widely we are using in a network this IP. Okay, one drawback of this adaptation model is I am talking about drawback of adaptation model. Okay, so it is most common, as I already told you, it is dependent on physical and MAC layer. It means that it completely depends upon only one single MAC layer and only one single physical layer. For example, if you have a Zigbee device, this Zigbee device should be used only in a Zigbee networks. This is one restriction of adaptation model. This kind of restrictions are there. Okay, so because of such kind of restrictions or disadvantages or drawbacks, the deployment or implementation or use of this IP must be considered. Which applications we have to run, which applications, what kind of application. So completely it is dependent upon application. So which applications we want to run on a gateway connecting these islands to the rest of the world. It means the gateway is acting as a mediator between you and your roommate, the translator between you and your roommate. So which applications we have to run on this gateway, we have to decide because of these drawbacks of adaptation model. Okay, I hope you understood. These all are the factors on which we can decide whether I have to use adaptation model or whether I have to use adoption model. Okay, guys, in next class I continue. You can leave the meeting.